Hello everyone, this is British Insider, your front row seat to the power struggles shaping the UK. I'm Johan. Stay with me for the latest political revelations.
The walls of Westminster are shaking tonight under the weight of a political earthquake, the likes of which Britain hasn't seen in decades. Coat Harmama's entire front bench has just collapsed, leaving the Labour Party in freefall. 43 members of Parliamentarians 43 have resigned in unison, turning their backs on the man they once called leader. This isn't speculation. This isn't gossip. This is happening right now, unfolding live on every major network, and the shockwaves are already rippling through the country. For a party that built its image on transparency, justice, and integrity, this is nothing short of catastrophic. The very foundations of Labour are now under threat, fractured by allegations of corruption, secrecy, and betrayal at the highest levels. What could trigger such an unprecedented revolt? A scandal so explosive that even Starmer's most loyal allies could no longer stay silent. It started as whispers, quiet concerns murmured in Westminster's corridors for weeks. A few MPs had cautiously raised questions about unusual spending patterns, contracts being handed out with no oversight, and growing tension inside Labour's inner circle. No one, however, expected the avalanche that followed. Early this morning, resignation letters began hitting social media feeds and news tickers like a tidal wave. One by one they poured in, minute by minute, hour by hour. At first, team dismissed the first few resignations as the result of an internal reshuffle, a bit of standard political housekeeping. But within hours it was clear this was no reshuffle. This was a rebellion, and it wasn't slowing down. By midday, the number had reached 43. 43 frontbench MPs, many of them senior shadow ministers with years of loyalty to the party, had walked away from their posts, and they weren't leaving quietly. Each resignation was accompanied by hard evidence, signed documents, leaked emails, and financial records that painted a damning picture of a leadership steeped in deception, a leadership accused of abusing public trust and enriching an inner circle through covert dealings worth billions of pounds. At the heart of the scandal is a staggering £22 billion financial conspiracy, allegedly orchestrated through backroom contracts and hidden even from members of Parliament tasked with ensuring accountability. The first public blow landed this morning when the Shadow Home Secretary stood before a packed press conference, her voice shaking with anger as she declared, "This is not the Labour Party I joined. This is not leadership. This is betrayal." Moments later, the Shadow Chancellor delivered her own bombshell, confirming that she had tried to confront Starmer directly about the misconduct but was repeatedly silenced, sidelined, and warned to think about party unity. Now, with the truth exposed and the damage beyond repair, she said she had no choice but to resign. Their words were the match that set the powder keg alight. One resignation turned into 10, then 20, and by the afternoon, the count had soared to 43. Outside Westminster, the backlash was immediate and ferocious. Constituency Labour Party branches across the country began releasing public statements demanding Starmer's resignation. Trade unions, the lifeblood of Labour's electoral machine, started pulling their support. Hashtags like #LabourCollapse and #betrayal trended across social media, dominating political discourse. And as the hours passed, the true scale of the financial misconduct began to emerge. Investigative journalists revealed that £22 billion had been routed through a network of private firms closely tied to Starmer's advisors and campaign donors. Many of these companies had no public records of delivering any actual services. One firm, reportedly owned by a former Blair strategist and a key donor to Starmer's leadership campaign, received an eye-watering £3.4 billion for digital messaging and policy advice, yet no trace of any campaign drafts, policy papers, or public outreach was ever found. Another company was paid over £1.2 billion for so-called grassroots outreach, but it failed to produce a single voter database or report. The deeper reporters dug, the clearer the pattern became. These were not isolated accounting errors or oversights. This was a coordinated effort to funnel staggering sums of money into the hands of loyal insiders, while keeping both the public and the wider party completely in the dark. Inside Parliament, the fallout has been equally dramatic. Emergency meetings have descended into shouting matches, with backbench MPs storming out in fury. Trust between party members has all but evaporated, replaced by suspicion and anger. A senior MP was overheard describing the situation as the total collapse of moral authority at the top of the party. Calls for a leadership challenge are growing louder by the hour, and some insiders are warning that the party may not survive the crisis intact. For ordinary Labour voters, many of whom have stood by the party through decades of ups and downs, the revelations feel like a betrayal of the highest order. The party that claimed to champion fairness and accountability now stands accused of enriching a select few at the expense of the many. Meanwhile, Starmer has remained largely silent, appearing only briefly before cameras to urge unity and caution against what he described as politically motivated attacks. But for many, the damage is already done. Public confidence is evaporating at a breathtaking pace, and opposition parties are seizing the moment, with some calling for an immediate general election. Political analysts are already comparing this moment to some of the most infamous collapses in modern British political history, warning that Labour's path to recovery could take years if recovery is even possible. The bigger question looming over Westminster tonight is simple. What happens next? Can Labour rebuild trust after such a colossal breach, or are we witnessing the disintegration of one of Britain's oldest and most storied political institutions? One thing is certain, this scandal is far from over. With more leaked documents expected in the coming days and multiple investigations already underway, the situation could grow even more explosive. Every hour brings new revelations, and with each revelation the pressure on Starmer intensifies. For now, all eyes are on Labour's leadership. Will Starmer step aside to allow the party to salvage what's left of its reputation, or will he dig in his heels and fight to retain control? Either way, the political landscape of Britain has changed overnight. The shockwaves from today's resignations will be felt for years to come. We at British Insider remain committed to bringing you only verified, accurate reporting in the midst of the chaos. Our goal has always been to keep you informed with the truth, free from the spin and noise. This story is developing by the minute, and will continue to keep you updated as more details emerge. If you found this report valuable, take a moment to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to British Insider for real-time updates on the biggest political crisis of our generation. Stay informed, stay critical, and we'll see you in the next update.